She poured a huge blob of superglue on the ground, then twisted her waist and lay down completely. Watching the woman's strange actions, 2 staff members went to pull her up, only to find her skin was firmly stuck to the stone slab, as if a layer of skin could be torn off at any moment. Are fans this crazy about chasing idols nowadays, not even caring about their own skin? Just moments ago, a dating show invited the hottest male celebrity at the time. The moment he appeared, countless female guests went crazy for him. They desperately showed their perfect sides, hoping to have a romantic date with him. Just then, a stretch limousine burst into the scene. A woman, trembling with excitement, got out of the car, showed the male celebrity the superglue she brought, saying it represented her deep affection. That's when the production team realized something was wrong. This wasn't the female guest they had arranged. Seeing her identity exposed and about to be ejected from the venue, the woman panicked, held up the glue, and shouted that she wanted to date the male star, declaring no one could kick her out. She poured the glue on the ground and lay down completely. Her skin was firmly stuck to the floor. Firefighters arrived. After inspection, the woman's condition was not optimistic. Her skin was corroded by the glue and had started to inflame. The large area contact with the glue had made her absorb much toxicity. Now she felt her back burning with intense pain. If this continued, her back skin might be ruined, and she might even die from poisoning. Only then did she start to regret. Although she successfully caught her idol's attention, the price she paid was too high. Firefighters tried to comfort her, telling her to stay calm. But without anything to dissolve the superglue, how could they send the woman to the hospital? The witty captain had someone bring an electric drill and started cutting the floor. Meanwhile, firefighters accidentally found another woman in the stretch limousine. Turned out she was the real female guest invited by the show, but was knocked out by the crazy fan who stole her identity to sneak into the show. Unbelievable. Fans would do anything for idol chasing. It's terrifying. Firefighters pried up the entire floor. Seeing she was saved, the woman shook off her previous depression.
I'm gonna have him save the paver, Joey. It's where we met. Come visit me in prison.
Do I have to? I would not.
Bye. Slide into my DMs.
This crazy obsessed fan is truly hopeless. It was clearly this rich kid who got into a car accident while drunk driving and got himself killed. But afterward, the firefighter who responded to the accident was held accountable, accused of delaying rescue and being responsible for the rich kid's death. The firefighter was furious. It was clearly his own fault for risking his life. What did it have to do with her? But superiors didn't care. They insisted on suspending the female firefighter's duty, telling her to go home and wait for an investigation. On this day, firefighters received an alarm. A sports car running a red light caused a serious car accident. A mother and daughter were severely injured, trapped in a deformed car. And the rich kid who caused the accident didn't care about their lives at all, just kept calling home, asking someone to clean up his mess. Watching the rich kid who didn't take human life seriously at all, she felt deep disgust, but out of professional ethics, she still asked the paramedic to check on him. Unexpectedly, the rich kid was afraid of being found drunk driving and having evidence held against him, so he refused to let anyone approach. Seeing that a fight was about to break out, the firefighter had to hurry up to mediate. Unexpectedly, this rich kid became even more arrogant, vowing to get the paramedic fired. She also got angry. She had never seen such an ungrateful person.
Are you refusing care?
Yes, I do not consent.
Fine.
Since he refused medical care, she didn't bother to waste time on such a scumbag. So when the police detained him, she turned and left. But seeing the situation, the paramedic who had almost been beaten instead became anxious, saying that the rich kid might have internal injuries. As emergency responders, maybe they should try to persuade him to accept the examination. And upon hearing this, she got even angrier. Why do drunks always get away scot-free? The victims' lives are uncertain, while the perpetrator is unharmed. Why is the world so unfair? But she didn't complain too much. She turned her full attention to rescuing the trapped mother and daughter. Due to the severe deformation of the vehicle, the firefighters had to bring saws and dismantle the car piece by piece. Although both the mother and daughter were badly injured, fortunately, their lives were not in danger. She finally breathed a sigh of relief. She smiled and encouraged the girl, saying, "Everything will be okay," telling her to rest assured and recover. But unexpectedly, just as she sent them to the ambulance, the rich kid suddenly collapsed over there. The guy who had just been arrogant now had no heartbeat or breath. She panicked. She didn't expect that this person, who seemed unharmed, actually had internal injuries. She rushed to save him, but it was too late. The rich kid died from a cerebral hemorrhage. Although she didn't like this rich kid, she felt bad that he was dead. However, what made her feel worse was that afterward, superiors actually blamed the rich kid's death on her, claiming that because she didn't conduct a physical examination for the rich kid in the first place, it indirectly led to his death.
He refused care. I followed protocol.
I'm taking you all back to duty, at least until we get the tox reports back.
she didn't expect. This rich kid had a big background. He was the son of a congressman. Now that his son died in a drunk driving accident, they took it out on her. She could only silently swallow this secret loss, even preparing to be fired. But unexpectedly, 3 days later, the rich kid's autopsy report brought a turn of events. Not only was the alcohol content seriously over the limit, there were also many drug substances. So the rich kid didn't die from the car accident, but from his crazy drinking and drug use, which killed him. With the evidence in front of them, the congressman's side couldn't blame the firefighters anymore. Finally, they gave up their thoughts of revenge and let the firefighter return to duty. However, this incident still left a knot in She's heart. If she had put aside her personal feelings at that time and insisted on examining the rich kid, maybe the rich kid wouldn't have died. So now that you've seen this, do you think the firefighter's initial approach was right or wrong? The woman just hiccuped, and the police officer beside her actually said she was having a stroke.
A stroke? Wouldn't she have slurred speech or paralysis or something?
A man would, but a woman learns that symptoms can be different. Big-ass hiccups is one of them.
The husband was stunned. No wonder his wife had seemed like a different person since morning. Just moments ago, the rescue center received a domestic violence report saying a couple was fighting. The police arrived first and grabbed the husband, who had a bloody head, shouting innocent, saying his wife had beaten him up that morning and that he was the victim.
Look,
Here, take him out of here.
there's something happening to my wife!
All right, calm down. I'll sort it out.
Miss, LAPD here. Are you all right? Everything's okay. Your husband's out of the house. I'm not going to let him hurt you.
The wife looked terrified and began accusing her husband, saying that although they had argued before, he had never been this crazy. As she spoke, she started hiccuping incessantly, which the officer initially dismissed, thinking the woman was just scared. Meanwhile, the firefighters arrived. Seeing the man injured, they tried to bandage him, but he was too distressed to care about his head wound, insisting his wife needed treatment more. He said his wife clearly wasn't British, but when she woke up that morning, she kept speaking with a British accent.
We woke up this morning, and she just starts speaking like that. It's bloody this, bloody that, a spot of tea, all this weird British slang that I've never heard before. At first I thought she was joking, but then it didn't stop, and I don't know what the hell's going on, so I tried to take her to the hospital. She freaked out, so I called 911.
She hit her head. Was she in an accident recently?
No, not that I know of.
Hey, she told me she woke up this morning with a migraine. That and violent hiccups, that coupled with obvious chest pains, I think she's having a stroke.
The husband was stunned. Could a stroke really unlock new language abilities? That's too incredible. When the firefighter asked the woman to stick out her tongue, it was crooked. She was actually having a stroke. A blood clot had blocked oxygen from reaching her brain, causing her neural synapses to malfunction. Since the brain is a mysterious unknown, it's not strange for her to unlock amazing skills. They injected her with tissue plasminogen activator to control the condition, then rushed her to the hospital. Knowing his wife was safe, the husband finally relaxed.
Thank you.
Don't thank us. Thank her.
Thank you.
So to sum up, the man got beaten by his wife, handcuffed by the police, and then had to thank them?